Can't believe that anybody feels the way we do about our girls and all those courts we're traveling to. And all the roads we trace, all the states we see. We've been volleyball'd oh, so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball.
Welcome in. This is Volleyball'd, Chapter 16. And we have been away for a couple of weeks, in part because of getting the season cranked up. But as of now, we have been dealing with winter weather. Last weekend, it was an ice storm in the Atlanta area. And as of right now, this recording, Allison, what are we dealing with outside?
Yeah, we're only here because we can't drive to the frickin' tournament because we're at probably 3 inches of snow now and it's still falling and it's a total bummer.
So for those of you that live around the country and think, okay, not a big deal, I would typically agree with you. But we are completely unprepared for this. And so our local police department, our local sheriff's department have been sending the pictures around of everyone who's been in accidents, who have been actually slamming into police department, police cars on the road. So for those of us in the Atlanta area, most everybody is at Beast of the Southeast, not a problem. But if you live in the northern area where we're at, way north of town, it's impossible to get over to the highway, to get over to A5 for our tournament. So for the first time in almost 7 or 8 years, we are actually missing tournament action that's going on this afternoon.
Yeah, and it sucks because our team is going to play and both of our coaches are snowed in and can't make it, and 3 players. Luckily, we're versatile enough that we can put a lineup together, and we've got other coaches stepping in to help and coach this baby 11-year-old team. But some people are playing out of position. It's going to be a new and different scenario, and unfortunately, we have to watch on the stream because we're not there.
Because we can't get out. And we prepared for this. We actually left one of our cars on the street with the idea that if our driveway iced over again, because it does have such an incline to it, a decline to it, depending on which way you're going, we knew that it was going to be impossible to control the car if it was going down a sheet of ice. So we just said, all right, let's put it on the street and we'll make the adjustment from there. The harsh reality that we're dealing with is that we can probably get down our street, but we've already had from our neighborhood page, the front entrance was cut off for a while because a car spun out and then ended up in a ditch. And the back entrance to the neighborhood is a complete sheet of ice going downhill, incredibly treacherous. So we're stuck. This is our reality for the day.
Yeah, the tournament is being held in 3 different locations across Atlanta, and it sounds like all 3 of those locations have seen 0 accumulations of snow, so it's just those of us in the outer rim that are being affected by this. I mean, you see people on social media are just nonstop like, are the roads safe? Are the roads safe? How's it coming from Johns Creek? Or how's it coming from Marietta? Blah, blah, blah. And there's this fine line from exit 14 and up, where it goes from totally fine to very, very, very not fine very quickly. And we are across that border, and we just had to make the call that this is not going to be safe for us, not only to get down there in the daylight, but our last match is scheduled for 8 p.m. tonight, and I do not see any chance that a safe drive coming home is in our forecast without us having to stay overnight in a hotel. We only live 30 minutes from the facility. I really don't want to pay for a hotel when I live here, but this is just where we're at right now.
For those of you that live and listen from out of state, you know, if you're in the Texas area, imagine if for some reason Plano suddenly was completely inaccessible to the rest of Dallas. That's kind of like the scenario we're dealing with. We're like a northern suburb that's been cut off from the rest of the world. Or for those of you who've ever vacationed in this area, everything from Lake Lanier north is inaccessible to move around and be safe in. So that's what we're stuck with. That's our harsh reality. So because I started then bouncing around on some different groups, I found one through Volleyball Junkies, which I think applies to everyone, at least on this podcast.
If you listen to this podcast, you might be a volleyball junkie.
You might be a volleyball junkie. But I thought there was some really cool, harsh realities that they posted. And so we thought we would use this opportunity snowed in, unable to go and watch our younger daughter play volleyball, to talk about some harsh realities and whether or not we agree with them. So
Yeah, read the initial post, like what the question was, because it's interesting just as a topic starter.
the question that had been put forth was just, and it was very simple. It just said harsh realities, and just to basically lay it out. What are things? In fact, it was put forth. Hit me with harsh reality truth about volleyball, and it just took off from there. And so the first one, all it said was 2 words: serve, receive. I think now that we've seen with my older daughter, she's playing with the 16s team, the difference in what has now occurred from when she was 13, 14, now being a 15-year-old playing on 16s, serve, receive is such a foundational issue. And I now have good friends of ours who have talked about how if there's anything they screwed up with their daughter early on, she could be an excellent setter. They're like, her defense was so far behind a lot of the other girls. We wish that they had learned to play defense much earlier than just being the very aggressive scorer or the very quality setter.
Yeah, especially if your kid's tall. They stick you in the middle middle or right side from the time you're 10, 11 years old, and you stay there. You don't necessarily get the same passing reps that every other girl on the team gets, even at practice, because you're at the net most of the time, hiding in serve receive and just waiting to pass the ball. And it's true. We've seen it with both of our kids. We have to put them in extra passing lessons to make sure they don't fall behind. And I will say with our older daughter, as a 6 rotation outside, a 5'8" 6 rotation outside, we had to have, harsh reality talks with her. You're competing against the 6-footers now. The only way you see the court is if you're the strongest in serve receive, and she's worked on it, and it's gotten to where it needs to be, and we're happy to see it. But you can't just be a hitter anymore. Even the middles need to be able to pass. Right sides need to be able to pass. Everybody needs to be able to pass, because you might end up on a team where all of a sudden you're running a 5-1, and that right side's got to play as much defense as she's got to play offense. So it's very important to become as versatile as possible as early as possible.
And I love the follow-up post. The post said, learning to pass and handle serve receive is important. Nothing happens without a good pass. And now that we see that older brand of volleyball that we have been part of, the difference when we ran into during Little Big South, we got into the gold medal round, and so our older team was alive, and the team that we played, at least for the first 10 points, chewed us up because our passing could not get quality opportunities to our setter. That's just what happened. We'd been good at it all weekend, and we had about 3 minutes where it wasn't good. And that was the difference. And basically finding yourself moving on to the next round was just that 3 or 4 minutes of volleyball where you didn't get the ball passed well and serve receive.
Yeah, and that's why the scoring of the passing, you're like, oh, why does it matter? Why are we really paying attention to that? We just need to count up how many kills our team is getting. No, you need to know where your serve receive is, because that is the starting point and foundation of running offense at the other team, especially on the first ball. So if your passer is able to get up a 3 pass, that means it's right on target where it needs to be, so that the setter has every offensive weapon at her disposal to set to, because the ball is where it needs to be. A 2 pass is pulling her slightly off the net. Maybe she's on the 10-foot line now. Maybe that takes the middle out of play. Now you've got still a wide range of options, but it's a bit more limited. You start talking about more 1s than 3s, where now the setter's having to run cross court to get a hand on a ball, to maybe bump it up, to maybe get a ball in, or even worse, your libero's having to run off court to get the shanked ball, to maybe just be able to free ball it back over. You've just taken an opportunity away from your team, and now you're on your heels playing defense against whatever they can put back in your face. So it definitely matters, and the older you get, the more it matters. So making sure you have a team that's strong at passing becomes a harsh reality of whether you win or lose.
All right, so here's another harsh reality that I thought was a really good one. It says if you're only getting reps at scheduled practices, you're falling behind those who get reps outside of practice. Now, this one's harsh because most of all of us are paying a large amount of money for club volleyball or whatever volleyball that you are involved in. And to think that the mentality in the industry is, well, you better go find more work. But that is one of the harsh realities of wanting to see your daughter compete and progress at some of these tougher levels of competition.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you have to spend $100 for an hour-long session 3 times a week either. If you got the money to do it, more power to you. We don't, times 2 kids.
They start looking at each other going, why do you get to go more than the other one? And we're like, oh no, here
we'll
we go.
do a one-on-one session when there's something that needs to be fixed, and we go to work on it because we notice a problem, we identify something that needs to be worked on a one-on-one level. There are many ways to get reps. You can do things in your backyard. You can build a rebounder and hit to yourself. You can take a tennis ball and do arm swing snaps inside your bedroom. There's a lot of different ways you can be working on the game that don't involve shelling out cash. Now, very aware that some of the clubs need to see you in order to believe that you are putting in extra work. And, that's on you. Figure out what the fine line is of how much work, where the work needs to happen, and just trying to stay competitive with the rest of the people on your team.
This is one of the brutal aspects because, and that, by the way, is Allison, and I'm Carlos.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
And this is Volleyball'd, and we're snowed in. We're frozen in. By the way, you have a message on your phone as of right now. This is from, and you can probably take a look at it real quick. This is Coach Aaron, who was on the podcast. I think that might have been Chapter 4 with her daughter's recruitment journey. She's actually having to sub in to coach our team today because our coach and assistant coach are also snowed in. So Aaron went ahead and sent us a note that says, seriously, we aren't that scary. Come on and get here. Coach, we're stuck.
I'm sending her a picture of the 4 inches of snow in our backyard right now.
Just to send her the video of how trapped we are. So I just wanted to bring that up as a quick side note. But, okay, so we're reviewing some of these harsh realities of volleyball. And this is the one that it plays in our house because more than likely we might have a younger daughter that might end up being taller than the older daughter. And the older daughter at 5'8" is a very good, versatile player who has always had success on every team she plays on. But tall over talent. And that's a harsh reality that the tall players will always get the benefit of the doubt. If you happen to be the 5'10" outside, then the 5'8" outside has to show that much more before she gets the same or more opportunities than the 5'10" player.
And that's a coach-to-coach thing. Some coaches are dead set on finding the tallest people they can put at the net, regardless of skill level, and they can develop them. And yes, many of them can be developed, but you get to a point where you have to figure out which brand of volleyball you're wanting to play and make sure you're on a team and in a culture where all sizes will be.
Okay, so here's another harsh reality for you. And I do love this one. It's very simple. A coach can either make you or break you. We've had that experience on both ends where we've had, and again, it wasn't like a terrible year, but we've also seen the benefits of having a great year with a coach, a coaching staff, and to see how quickly, and I think a lot of it comes down to, did you have fun while you developed? And there's been times where we've looked back and said, okay, we developed, but the fun really wasn't there. There's always that issue. But yes, talk about just that whole idea of when your daughter every now and then says, I don't think my coach, it's entirely possible the coach may not like you.
Well, and sometimes a coach being hard on you is them trying to get the most out of you. But I think as much talk as there is out there right now about mental strength and mental toughness, there are a lot of coaches out there that are not doing a great job at developing that skill set among their athletes. And it might fall more on our parents' shoulders to play that role for our kids if they're on a team with a coach or other players that are feeding negatively into that mindset. So that's where extra coaching comes in, talking to mentors or peers that help with a positivity mindset for your player, having them listen to podcasts or watch videos or follow really inspirational coaches or mentors on social media even that put positivity thoughts in their head versus dwelling on the negative all the time. It's really easy to dwell on the negative. It just really is. So you've got to coach it out of them.
All right. How about this note? And this is a mentality that we have in our home. We talk about it all the time. I've always said that a set is an opportunity. I don't care how good it is, how bad it is. This note from this person, it was part of, again, Volleyball Junkies, where I just saw these harsh realities and was going through them going, okay, yeah, that's a harsh reality. There's no such thing as a bad set to a good hitter. and the ball never lies.
Ball don't lie.
Ball don't lie. But I love that because when you're a hitter, you just want opportunities. And I think it ends up being problematic for team chemistry when you know that you got a set that probably wasn't the best to take a good, healthy, competitive swing at, but it's still a set to you. So do something with it.
Yeah, and having an outside hitter, watching the trajectory of that change, right? So when they're younger, 11 and 12, sets a little off the net, they're probably just going to free ball it over because they're too scared that they're going to hit it into the bottom of the net and, get in trouble or get pulled from a match. They get up to 13, 14. Now maybe they're taking just an easy little roll shot down ball because, again, they don't want to be taking the wrong swing because the ball was slightly off or slightly tight or et cetera, et cetera.
I don't want an error.
I don't want an error. That's going to mess with my stats. Now we get into 15, 16, and a down ball is the same as a free ball. You're basically giving the offense a chance to put it back down your throat.
It's non-competitive.
So now it is the out-of-system set is coming from the libero. It's not going to be perfect. What can you do with it? Not necessarily that you have to annihilate it every time, but what good, smart swing can you put on it into a deep corner, into a cross roll shot, into somewhere that is an available spot on the court and create points and momentum for your team. So it's about that switch from just, I just got to save it because it was a bad ball, to I am the final effort of the offense to try to win this point for my team, and I'm going to do everything I can to try to win it, versus just conceding that it was a bad set, so I'm just going to give it back to the other team. At this level, that's a point for the other team. You might as well call it a point for the other team. So it's the same as an error, essentially, at the end of the day, because you're giving up your shot.
So this was posted by someone with some, I would say, college experience, and I think it's really interesting that they point out that when it comes to the recruitment end, that the toughest position to figure out for coaches is liberos and defensive specialists. I think we see that at the club level where there are girls that will look fantastic during drills or during camp work, and then we get into the season, and now here are the lights, and now things are fast and things are moving, and suddenly that player doesn't look like the same one. And so I think that is one of those harsh realities that you're trying to figure out who can handle that sort of opportunity, and you don't know until you actually get on the court in competition.
Yeah, and the differentiator you really have to look for is, yes, we talked about serve receive, got to have strong serve receive, got to be a good server if you're a libero. Or a DS, really. And number 3, and I think this is where it really starts to go one way or the other as the girls get older, everybody looks like a great defender when the block is working. When the block is strong and getting touches and slowing it down, and all you're having to do is take 2 steps and get under that ball, everybody looks good. What happens when the block is not great? What happens when the middle's got a tweaked knee and she's not closing it every time? What happens when the other team is running sophisticated, quick plays in front and back, and the middle's just tricked left and right, and you've got open season, and your defender's got to get the ball up? That's the differentiator for me of a really, really great libero and someone who's just a pretty good defender.
Well, and it works in conjunction. As the girls have gotten older, we've recognized the importance of just get your hands on the ball some way, somehow, so that whether you're the right side or the middle or you're the outside, help protect your back row defense, because I thought this was a really great harsh reality. Here's another note. Even the best libero can't save your defense. No block, no luck. Listen, we know a lot of great players like that, but there are points when, using a hockey term, they stand on their head, where you go, oh my God, what an amazing dig that she just made. Well, if your defense is pretty quality, she's not having to make that every other swing.
Right.
That there's consistently that ability to get hands on balls and to slow things down. All right, how about this one? This is when it comes to clubs. 95% of clubs are in it for the money.
97%?
You want me to leave it right there?
I mean, obviously, it's not all about the money. Why would you do it? Right? Why would you spend all of your life dedicated toward? There is a love of the game in there somewhere, but the cost of some of the private lessons and the camps and the clinics that are shoved down your throat nonstop, it's...
You know the difference if you're experiencing this. You know when you're going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the That's the differentiator. If you're going to have somebody asking you for $150, you know the difference in, all right, this is a money grab versus my kid's really going to get something out of this. And you experience a difference. That's why you talk with other parents. That's a regular point of any of the chat rooms and the chat groups. It's, hey, we did this camp. What did you get out of it? And parents are pretty honest about what was worth the money and what wasn't.
Yeah, because a lot of these things you don't know what coach is going to be on the court with your child. So you're paying the same amount as someone who has the former Olympian coaching the court, and you've got a 22-year-old that didn't play in college and just wants to get back in the game. It's the same camp, same amount of time, same amount of hours, same amount of dollars, but different at the end of the day.
All right, so we've watched this so far, and we've got a few more of these to get through as we're into Chapter 16 of Volleyball. Like and subscribe, people. Give us a 5-star rating. We need these things.
Yeah, we have a few more hours before we have to watch our team play on live stream because we're not there.
We're not there.
Womp, womp,
A little bit bummed out on this one. All right, how about this one? The setter position has been watered down by all these dumb new rules anyone can set now. First off, I don't agree with it,
No.
but we have seen a difference in what has been called and what has been not called in the first few tournaments of so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, the second ball now you can double. So what used to be a rare skill set of having perfect hands and being a setter is no longer a differentiator. However, what about all the other skill sets that make you a good setter, right? Reading the defense, putting the ball where the defense is not, getting to balls that are being passed all over creation on the court. You're still running the game. The setter is the quarterback of the volleyball court. And that takes a mindset and a type of athlete that not everybody is capable of doing. Do the hands matter less now? Yes, sure. You still have to control the ball. So whether or not it looks as pretty as it used to, you've still got to have the ability to get to a ball and make play. But some of the social media ones that are out there now of the second balls that people are getting up, I think it's kind of fun, actually. Like, you're doing these wacky one-handed dig-looking sets, and the hitter comes in and slams it. That's amazing. You still made the play.
All right, so here's the last one I'm going to run by you. And again, these are the harsh realities of volleyball, since we're dealing with the harsh reality of, for the first time since we got started as club parents, we're actually missing a portion of the tournament because we're snowed in. We're trapped. We can't get out of our neighborhood, and it's just too crazy right around here, so we're stuck. Including our coaches, by the way. So we're having new coaches that are having to coach our team for the day. All right, how about this one? We as parents are often the reason why players are, quote, uncoachable. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think
There's a reputation that gets around, and that's a harsh reality, that there are some girls that the parents are so difficult. They move from club to club, from team to team because of what the reputation is. And it's not, the kid is the kid. I think the parent ends up being the problem.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is everyone. We left a club last year, and we still hug everyone from our past teams when we see them. We were, had a great experience with other parents, but coaches don't always have a great experience with parents, and players hear what parents are saying in the car and on the sidelines, and they bring that to the court with them, and that negative mentality. So I'm not saying I've never been guilty of saying a negative thing to my child before when I'm frustrated after a tournament loss, or
It's happened, but I think it turns into when you become part of the nuisance to the coaching
Right.
staff and the club.
right.
I think that is that line, because your daughter can have a tough attitude, and very rarely have I ever seen a club, at least in our area, where they just say we're not going to deal with her. It's typically the parent
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
It's never been, hey, she gets really down on herself, or she gets really angry when we lose, or I've never heard of that situation turning into we don't want her back unless the parents are also a pill to deal with.
And you can 100% know that in the future you will keep your daughter from making a team if you are that nuisance parent. If it's not happening in club, it will happen in college. We're hearing that story over and over again. They're watching the parents and the interactions between the player and their parents as much as they're watching the actions on the court.
Yeah, they make it a point, and I heard a number of college coaches, as I love listening to other coaches talk about these sort of things in podcast form. And one of them was, I want to see that kid ask their parent for water. And one of the things that jumped out, it's like, does it turn into like, Mom, meatloaf? Like, go get me water. It's like, no, it's like, hey, Mom, I need some help here. Hey, Dad, I need some help. Hey, and he says it's a little thing, is what this coach pointed out. He's like, but it'll tell you a lot about who the kid is. So all of that stuff. We've had that discussion with my 15-year-old as one of the tournaments we were at in Alabama. There were coaches that were walking around, stopping at the court, watching them do what they were doing. We told them later. They didn't know because they were in game action, but it's just that reminder that the little things are being constantly watched by these coaches that want to deal with as little of a headache as possible at the next level. Because let's face it, if you've played collegiate sports, you know it's a job. And if you're bringing a bad mentality to the job as well, that's going to make it harder for that coach. So they're trying to nip that in the bud pretty early on now.
Can I end with my personal harshest reality of volleyball?
Oh, please.
For you new parents out there, if your daughter or son loves this sport and is gung-ho and you'll be doing this for the next 10 years like Carlos and I have been, harsh reality, it will be a part-time job in your life, if not a full-time job, except it's the kind of job where they ask for money from you versus paying you at the end of the week. So just be prepared that all of your free time, money, and energy will go to this sport until college and maybe not even till after. Just prepare yourself.
I just like the idea of you calling it's a part-time job that you pay them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it really
psychology.
comes down to.
Reverse psychology.
I've got this new part-time job. Oh, really? Yes. It's this 11-year-old volleyball team. Oh, that's cool. What are they paying you? They're not. I'm paying them. That's what it turns into.
I just took a new job where I'm going to be traveling quite a lot. And to get to my daughter's tournament at Northern Lights in Minnesota, I am having to now fly my father to Atlanta to escort her to Minnesota on the plane because I have to go to San Diego and then take a one-way to Minneapolis and then another one-way home. And then my husband will be on a different route going to St. Louis with the other daughter. So, yeah.
You want to know what
I
the
need
harsh,
an assistant.
You know what the harsh
yesterday.
reality of that is? You're going to do it and you're going to like it. All right, take us out.
All right. Well, I'm either going to go back out in the snow and take some more pictures, or I'm going to pour a cup of hot cocoa and go nuzzle up on the couch and watch some 11-year-olds play volleyball. Let's be honest. We know it's going to be the second option. Stay warm, everyone.
Today is gonna be the day that we run out of cash. Watching every serve and kill, it's a total smash. By now you should have somehow realized what we've lost. Our free time's gone, it's all for volleyball at any cost. I tend to believe that anybody feels the way we do about our girls and all those courts we're traveling to. And all the roads we trace, all the states we see. We've been volleyball, oh, so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball. Backbeat, the word is on the street that we're broke again. Entrance fees for tournaments our girls already in. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but we're at the bar, drinking through the overwhelm. No life beyond this far. Don't believe that anybody feels the way we do about the nets and all the chaos we're stuck into. And all the roads we tread, all the stakes you see. We've been volleyball, oh, so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball. And all the lights that lead us there are blinding. The whole town we're still here. Volleyball, oh volleyball. I don't believe that anybody